1. Russia, Gulf AI hubs, and talks over Iran. Russia carried out a large, multi-hour strike on Kyiv and nearby areas in which the use of an Oreshnik hypersonic missile was confirmed. The weapon has been mentioned as capable of intercontinental ranges and possible nuclear payloads. Casualty figures from Ukrainian authorities are about 4 dead and some 80 injured, with damage reported to homes, schools, and infrastructure, plus broken windows and collapsed sections of buildings in Kyiv. Moscow says it targeted military sites, while Ukraine highlights civilian harm and calls on the international community to respond. President Zelensky insists Russia must face consequences. The Middle East war is reshaping Gulf states' drive to become AI hubs. The UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar had been competing to host major data centers and AI investments backed by sovereign funds and cheap energy, but attacks on shipping and initial strikes on data infrastructure, including an AWS site, have delayed or paused construction. Projects now require hardened facilities, underground siting, air defense, stronger insurance, face higher costs and longer lead times, and have prompted strategy diversification, though major firms and local players still largely keep long-term investment commitments. Diplomacy over Iran continues amid claims from former President Trump that a peace agreement is largely negotiated and imminent, with calls and talks involving regional leaders. Iran's foreign ministry confirmed a first-stage MOU and plans for 30 to 60 days of broader negotiations, but key issues, especially high-enriched uranium HEU disposition and nuclear terms, remain unresolved, and Iran asserts continued control over Strait of Hormuz operations. Pakistan and Qatar are reported mediators. The U.S. has said it will maintain certain port restrictions until any deal is signed, and even if the strait reopens, full normalcy, including release of detained tankers, inventory adjustments, and production restarts, could take weeks to months. Number 2. Rising U.S. yields, Bangladesh stimulus, dividends, and Nissan's UK pullback. U.S. Treasury yields have surged. 10-year yields rose into the high 4% range, peaking near 4.69% and recently around 4.56%, testing Washington's tolerance for higher borrowing costs and complicating mortgage, corporate borrowing, and fiscal policy decisions. Markets are wary of yields reaching 5%, while policymakers face the trade-offs of intervention versus preserving inflation credibility. Bangladesh launched a large stimulus to counter slowing growth. The central bank announced a package of 600 billion taka, about $4.9 to $5 billion, composed of long-term deposits from banks and central bank resources backed by government guarantees, aimed at restarting closed or idle factories, supporting services and agriculture, and creating roughly 250,000 jobs amid export-led demand weakness. Analysts are favoring dividend-paying stocks for steady income amid volatility. Examples cited include Energy Transfer, yield by 6.7%, Chevron 3.7%, and Williams 2.7%, while financial advisors urge higher household retirement savings, recommending measures like a minimum 20% saving target and budgeting rules to avoid lifestyle creep. Corporate strategy shifts are visible in Nissan affiliate Jatco's cancellation of plans to build EV powertrains in Sunderland, UK, a project worth about £48.7 million to produce roughly 340,000 units annually, reflecting weaker EV demand in Europe and industrial restructuring that has reduced Nissan's plant footprint. 3. California chemical tank evacuation and White House area shooting. In Garden Grove, Orange County, California, a methyl methacrylate tank at a GKN aerospace site overheated and began venting, prompting a large evacuation order for roughly 40,000 people because of explosion and spill risks. The tank holds about 6,000 to 7,000 gallons. Initial drone and direct readings showed internal temperatures at about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 32 degrees, rising roughly 1 degree per hour, and a pressure relief valve failure raised cons.